Rock, Paper, Scissors is Corridor TV's anime about twin brothers who are heir to their father's throne. It's a very short video, with the actual story itself being about 7 minutes long. A bit less than that, really. But my goodness, the hate train for this. Not because of the plot or the team behind it, but because of how this was made, with AI. So what's the issue with this? And is the animation maybe worth it? I'm going to talk briefly about the short film Rock, Paper, Scissors itself, and then about AI in art and entertainment and where this fits in. Let's start with the story and the comedy. People are mostly ragging on the writing in this because of the whole AI issue, and we'll get to that, but the writing itself is fine. It's an enjoyably silly little short story, and it successfully creates two clearly separate characters in a very small amount of time in these two brothers. The over-the-top writing and line reads lends it an air of almost being a JoJo parody, in a positive way. Oh no! I can say with confidence that I would watch an entire series written like this, as a silly, campy comedy, with this kind of art style to complement it. It's fun and has a reasonably good, compelling atmosphere, and that's where the majority of compliments I've found about it come from. This silly, campy air that the short film has. Now, let's get on to how this thing looks. A common complaint raised on the flip side to the compliments about the writing is that this looks like actual garbage from an artistic perspective. But when I'm looking at it, it's definitely not the worst thing in the world. I'd be confused if a studio not using AI produced this though. The movements are very weird and very AI, and it's very janky in places, with eyes going all over the show. Oof, look at that. But I don't think the looks of Rock, Paper, Scissors would garner nearly so much hatred if the animation had not been made with AI, and then also advertised plainly as such. The lighting and backgrounds are absolutely beautiful, but Corridor doesn't get the credit for this. I looked through the description in researching for this little video, and the backgrounds pack that their AI engine is trained from is from Meshingun Studio, which brings me nicely onto what I'm sure brought you here. So let's talk about the AI used to make this. Now, as I've already mentioned, and as the whole of Twitter has been balking at since this animation's release, it's made with heavy reliance on AI. What this means is that, in order to draw and animate this short film, a piece of AI software was trained using other artists' work. The reason this draws so much hate from artists and non-artists in general discourse is because of the issue of intellectual property as a concept. Because in order to train an AI to produce better and better work, you have to give it more and more input.
More input.
And there's almost no way one artist can produce enough input to train an AI up enough to, say, make an animation of any sort of passable quality. And it's unlikely you'll get many artists actively consenting to you using their work in a short enough time frame for most animation studios and networks. And I'm sure a lot of indie creators even wouldn't love a huge long wait slowing down their projects either. And as a result of all of that, that massive amount of input is often from dubious sources without the artist's consent. It's often theft.
I'll steal it! No one will ever know!
A particularly dark example came just last year. South Korean artist Kim Jung-gi was a genius, known worldwide for his ability to draw entirely from memory. After building his talent and artistic knowledge for years and years, he drew sprawling Renaissance-esque cover art seemingly effortlessly. He created great ranges of work too, from sketches of animals, to paintings of people, to illustrated webcomics and graphic novels, to murals, and partnered at one point with renowned Japanese artist Katsuya Terada, who worked on many Legend of Zelda games, Tekken, a live-action Devilman adaptation, and more. However, Kim Jung-gi unfortunately passed away suddenly on the 3rd of October 2022, at the age of just 47. He left a big hole in the artistic community globally. So when, 3 days after the man's death, 3 entire days, an AI tool was released that fed off of his artwork, the response was not positive. It sparked a lot of vitriol and backlash, but also a lot of interesting discussions about what is and isn't for public use, and where decency towards artists comes into the issue of using their publicly available art, and why artists make their art publicly available in the first place. In that initial thread, the Kim Jung-gi AI tool creator also credited Nico Pueringer, sorry if I'm butchering that, an artist who worked on Rock, Paper, Scissors. See, we're back full circle. When it comes to rock, paper, scissors, I suppose the question then becomes, what was used to train the AI to make these images and these movements? Because if at any point an artist's work was used as a dataset without their consent, like with Kim Jung-gi, we may well have an ethics problem. Adding to this, unlike the Kim Jung-gi AI tool, Corridor TV could stand to make some serious cash off any future AI-generated projects. They could even be making a good amount of money from just that YouTube upload of this animation, and if the tools used to make it were trained off artists' hard work without said artist's consent, Corridor TV is making money off others' works without even giving clear credit. I contacted Meshingun Studio, the company that created the Gothic Mega Pack used for the gorgeous backgrounds in Rock Paper Scissors, to inquire about how the pack is put together. It hasn't been long since I sent the query, so a response might be coming, but I haven't received one yet, outside of the canned auto response. To be fair to them, looking at the site, it seems to be the case that artists are employed by Meshingun, and then presumably their art is used for these packs, implying that they give their consent. If so, I'd consider that ethical AI training. AI in art has become such a hot button issue lately, as much as it's always been kind of in the ether as a little fringe concern. The recent introduction of AI art tools into the mainstream has left a lot of artists feeling cheated and also insecure as well, even if it's not their art directly being ripped off. After all, if you spend hours and hours and years of your time training a skill, and then some piece of software comes out kind of mimicking the skill it took you years to develop, I get the bad blood. This was a short one, but at the time of writing, I hadn't seen a review of this that I really agreed with, so I've added my 2 cents. I hope you like this little deviation from my usual formula. If you want to hear more commentaries and reviews on Western animation, check out the rest of my channel for more content. Thanks to Hasselvania for the thumbnail, his channel's in the description, and thanks for watching. Bye bye!